Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Alright, as you can see here, I'm sure you are familiar by now. This is the little new cluster for these silent assholes. Or at least one of the clusters, because here are the 51s. I don't know if there's any. I don't think they go below this. I don't remember. Oh no, there they are. There's 41s over there. Why are they on the left? So the 40s are on the left, the 60s are in the middle, the 50s are on the right. Okay, I don't know why it's not going in order. But however, all right, try to lay out some basics here. It's a fairly simple loop. Not saying that the loop is complicated or it's necessarily hard, but it is another loop and another hostile, another new loop. And it's just, man, piss off, you bunch of jackasses. Alright, so first thing you do, you're going to go into the faction store and claim your tokens. All the other tokens that you can claim for these loops are in a different location. So, of course, these are also in a different location. God forbid we go to the same location to start loops. Where the hell are they? This one, I guess. Alright, so 2 new claims here. Temporal disruptors, you're going to get a daily drip of 150. Yay for me. And here's your claim for your 2 Nebula tokens. You can see the max is 8, which is standard. Alright, so let's back out of that shit. Yeah, so let's go over crew. Alright, now this is the crew that I've found to work the best. I don't know why. The patch note said Pike Moreau trip. That's wrong. It should be Picard Beverly trip. More damage in combat. That's going to help. You don't need more ship XP. I mean, you could use more ship XP, but you're going to benefit a lot more from Picard's critical damage, especially if you're going to use Hugh below deck, which you can for these. It was only those indie assholes that didn't allow your critical. What the hell did they do? Dropped your critical damage. This is my order for the below decks. I think Tendi is really number 1 here. Well, I guess it's debatable. The order. I guess the order is swapped maybe a little bit, but so maybe it's this. Hugh, I think, is your first must. Torres, it's probably depending on what tier you have. I think if you're tier 4 or higher, she should be number 2. Anything lower than that, and you probably shouldn't bring her because you're just not going to consistently get enough hull breach, in my opinion. Tendi, I think, is next in line, and then Doctor. And if you have more crew slots, Odo and New Troy and Mariner for more damage. But as you can see, we're limited. I like to go in order by their strength. Descending order. Yeah, there are a few other crews. Enterprise, new Picard, new Data, and Trip, I guess, was something that was also suggested. I actually have not tried that. Maybe I will try that at a later date, but I've really been spending too much tokens, so I only got the 2. And I kind of want to, build up that inventory so I don't have to do 2 every day and recrew every day, but I can recrew every other day and do 3 or 4 or something like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do 1 run a day, show you the basics. That's about it. There's also a Severus-led crew because, of course, just to throw a wrinkle in there somewhere, these assholes burn you. So Severus, who's in Sharvanik's group, and Tal's in that group, and Disha's in that group, Dejoki also in that group, actually can be useful here. Maybe. Severus will remove hull from the opponent if the opponent burns you. That's why that crew is suggested. Now, I tried it, and I don't like it. I don't think it works. I damn sure don't get as much as I get with just Picard, Beverly, Trip here. So, I'm not going to use it. I don't recommend that you use it. But at the same time, if you're having trouble, which many people are having trouble, giving it a shot may not be a bad idea. I don't know that it's necessarily going to work. But it's possible. All right. Let's ascend to the system. You see, I already have my, what is this dumbass ship? Titan. I have my Titan in the central point of the cluster here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten my sound pack as right before I go in and start the grind. Part of that is part of your at least one of the dailies, if you have a Titan, is to use the ability. Well, why not use it for a grind? Sure. So I'm gonna hit the button here. Yep. Everybody's boosted, and we're gonna send to the system. Yes, I thought I clicked a button already. And then I'm gonna go back over here because I got a number 9 over here. I don't know why I got so many. Oh, more trial bells. Pulls are getting so out of whack. Well, so much for a claim all button. How many times do I have to click this button? Wow. How many windows is it going to pop up? Claim all that. I've been having problems with that. Like you hit the claim all and it like doesn't actually give you all of them at the same time, which is weird. But however, all right, now you go in here and you start hitting the hostiles. Fairly simple. I want to scan some of these assholes because somebody told me something and it just doesn't make a damn lick of sense, but armor piercing is higher. Wow, shield piercing and accuracy is very high. Interesting. Though the same can't be said about their mitigation. Dodge is way higher than armor and shield deflection. So why, if you're using an Explorer, would you have an easier time at hitting the Explorers than hitting the Interceptors? That is odd. So odd. I mean, I wouldn't say that you would be having a tougher time. I just think it would be like a meh-ish time. Not necessarily tougher, not necessarily easier. It's weird. Somebody said that to me. They were like, oh, I'm having trouble killing the Interceptors with my Explorer, but yet I go attack the Explorers with my Explorer and I do better. That doesn't make any sense. Why would you do better? Did I look at these guys? No, I looked at the Interceptors. Accuracy is higher, but it's not the piercing you really worry about, because if you can get max mitigation, then, which, you know what, that even further says, why the hell? Well, because it's not a ship ability, right? These guys have increased piercing just kind of like Freebooters do, but Freebooters, it was a ship ability. So maybe they said Pike Moreau because of the high piercing. Doesn't seem to be affecting me. No. And I've heard people like this, say they like this, but I don't like this. Because I remember the first time I came in here and I started smacking shit around and it's like, oh, 20,000 already? Oh, yeah, that's cool. So you look at it, it's like, what? I was a little pissed at that. I just don't like the way the hostiles are spawning in here. I really don't like that. It's like you come in and you kill all these interceptors and then no more interceptors spawn. Oh, gee, thanks. Why? I don't want to look too much at the battle log now while I have Hoojable what's it thing on my bob popped. If anything, I want to go after more of these 57 interceptors. What am I? See, I'm up to 6,300, which isn't. Yeah, I mean, it's not double chest pull territory, but relatively easy single chest pulls. So, it's my understanding that why I don't like that they added this loop. It's because they added another loop. I think the loop itself is relatively easy. I don't think it's that challenging. I think if it's challenging for you, part of the reason is you're probably in a bad situation. Like, say you're trying to make that move from G3 to G4 or G4 to G5. There is kind of a gap in there somewhere where if you don't go for, if you skip a ship, like say you skip a jellyfish going from G3 to G4, which some people do. I'm not saying I recommend it or I don't. I'm just saying I can see why people would skip the jellyfish. The jellyfish is trash, or at least don't level it up. The same can be said potentially when you're going from G4 to G5. A lot of people skip the G4 epics because they're so damn expensive, especially compared to the G3 uncommons. Shh, don't tell them, or they'll change it. All right, this thing actually wore off, so let's go take a look at. Oh, it doesn't tell you which one's which. That's disappointing. Let's check this first asshole out. What is he? This guy is an interceptor. Let's pull up the calculator here. Just to double check, see where I'm at. 33, 5, 6, 4, 6, 8. Because they do have high piercing. You want to know that your mitigation numbers can counter the high piercing. 71.1. That's max mitigation. So you can understand that Pike Moreau may better help it, since what Moreau is doing is drastically reducing the opponent's piercing and therefore increasing your mitigation. And it's percentage based instead of based on how much officer stats you have stacked below. So you'll get that regardless of how many officers stats, solely on, your bridge crew. But you can see here, Beverly, who should be boosted by Picard, is doing just fine. At least there. Let me see if I can find one of these that was an Explorer. There we go. See if it's relatively the same. Actually didn't. It actually might be a little lower. 143 divided. No. No, it's actually the same. Okay. Maybe again, yeah. 0.711, 0.711. That's max mitigation. I mean, yeah, people say 72%, but they're just rounding. All right, so let's hit some more ships. Did get a little bit of boost from my Titan, but you can see that's already worn off, and I have 10,000. I am approaching double pool territory now. But if you notice what I was trying to do while I had the Titan boost, hit some of the 57s. So that when the boost wore off, there would be 55s here for me. So if I kill all the 55s with the boost on, and they don't spawn back, so, then you don't have any to kill. But to a certain extent, because of their piercings, all their piercings are high, whether they're a battleship or an interceptor. Now, yes, the specific one is bigger, but there's not a whole lot of difference there. So you actually probably could get away with hitting a few battleships if you're an explorer here. Not that I'm saying I recommend it, but especially if you're hitting down to like a 55, you should be fine. Is he barely doing any damage to me? Oh, who we got? Here we go. Who we got? You're moving away. That might be a little faster. Probably not. All right. Run is taking a little longer than I kind of wanted, but I was explaining some things in the video, so that's okay. So I guess part of, and I'll probably get into this in another video about the event store. The event store I think is trash, but at the same time, seeing some of the benefits with a Cerrito or a Titan. I use a Titan, but Cerrito is going to give you some benefit too. Could this be increasing the value of, let's say, a Titan in the event store or the refit for the Cerritos in the event store? It could. I think for me, for the most part, yes, because I'm not a fan of things that are in event store. I think the officer tab, it's probably the worst officer tab in an event store that I've ever seen. Partly because I don't like the officers that much, but at the same time, there's only 4 choices. 2 epics, 2 rares. That's the lowest number I think I've ever seen. Which, to me, doesn't make any sense. What am I at here? I'm at 14,000. How about that? Alright, let's try to hit a bigger guy. See if he can just kill me and I can go home. Because 14,000 with 1 token is pretty good. Yeah, you got to use some Titan juice or some Cerrito juice, but I don't care. But that's me. That's the position I'm at. Alright, so what do I do with all this bullshit that I just got? Well, let's start the repair. Let's come in here where you're going to check the claims box. And of course, they moved it. But you're going to look at this tab on the bottom. You see the art, no, I didn't want to click that. The artifacts tab is right here next to your gift tab. It used to be way back here. All right, so we're going to come in here. Let me get these claims out of the way. Pressing buttons. Thank you. I don't know how much how I have so much of this stuff, because I never go after it. And yes, something I didn't mention before. Take a look at this claim first before you go do anything. And you see the level bracket that you're at. 55 through 60. For me, whatever it is for you, don't go into a system that's outside of this bracket here for you. Because you won't get the right currency. See, I'm getting 5-star rare. That's the bracket I'm in. You see here, there's nowhere else for me to exchange any of the other currency. Why? I don't know. I think it's stupid, but however. Alright, so I'm going to do the max pull, because why not? Prime Orbit medallions, I like that they're in there. And I just did a max pull and didn't get no Prime Orbit medallions. Bullshit. Rev's right, that shit needs to be guaranteed. That's just stupid. This is stupid. Hey, RNGesus, you can kiss my ass. You bastard. And for shits and giggles, I'll probably go over this stuff a lot more in depth later. Don't pull anything from these new stupid ass artifacts until you max out your Eye of Ahrah first. See what it says right here. Increases the cost efficiency, or decreases, increases the cost efficiency of all the artifacts. The regular artifacts, the isolytic artifacts, the temporal artifacts, the artifacts remnants. Increases the cost efficiency for all of them. And at max, at level 12, it's 25%. Okay? Now, level 8 is the last level of this artifact that you will need to get these specific shards for. Level 9, 10, 11, and 12, they will be artifact remnants. So get to level 8 and then get all your remnants and put them into this thing before you go. That's what I'm doing, okay? I'm not going to touch any of the upgrades on any of my artifacts until I'm done with this. I'm not going through that bullshit of paying extra currency for something I shouldn't have to. If it takes me months to finish this thing, oh well, I don't care. But again, that's me. This is a cost efficiency thing here. As in most places, especially this game, you want to increase your cost efficiency research or artifact or building or whatever before you start making upgrades elsewhere, because those upgrades will cost less. And do a max pull since I got to 800. These pulls are not on a cooldown, so it's fine. You can pull as many as you like. I mean, until you're out of the currency. Alrighty then, I think that is it for this video. Summarizing here, the cluster, I guess, is directly above Cardassia and to the 1 o'clock of the Xindi spot. You go in there, you kill the hostiles, make sure you're killing in the right bracket. Okay, kill in the right bracket so you can get the right currency. See if that changes. I think the best crew to use is Picard, Beverly, Trip. Depending on where your progression is at and what your officers are, yes, Pike, Moreau, Trip could be better for you. To a certain extent, the Pike, Moreau, and the Picard, Beverly, they're the combo that is interchangeable there. As far as the sidecar, the X Factor, what could you put in there instead of Trip? A new Data or Janeway, whose ever value is higher. Now, if Janeway's at 10% and new Data is at 15%, don't try Janeway because she's not going to be better than new Data. Or, you know what? I don't even remember what have other people been using. I don't think Talon or Chen are going to do anything here, especially if you got to hit the 50s. Yeah, that's about it. What other crew did I try? I tried a few other crews. I can't remember. I think I was just forgetting to put Doctor or Hugh below, or I think it was Doctor. I kept forgetting to put below. However, but it is a relatively easy loop. It's just, it's another grind, and not very happy about that. So comment below. Would you agree that this loop itself isn't really complicated or necessarily hard? It's just another loop with another currency. And that's why we're so pissed off. You heard my crew suggestions. Have you come up with another crew that works really well for you? Also, because I'm kind of at a loss here, why would an Explorer do better at hitting against the Explorers than hitting the Interceptors here? I'm kind of confused as to why that's a thing. But I actually haven't thought about it too much. It's, it only came to me this morning. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.